Hey, Facebook fam, it's me again. This is my third attempt. My video keeps going out. I don't know what's wrong with it. But anyway, what I want to talk to you about today is labels. I think that we in America and probably around the world, for the most part, we are extremely caught up with labels. Take a look at this can. As I rotate around, you can see various things about the can. And as far as I'm concerned, I've never loved labels. I've never liked labels whatsoever. In fact, I think they are almost meaningless sometimes. But people use them, I get it. And we use them so that we can better manage our emotions, better manage a lot of things. In fact, scientists have found that people will be able to come up and form an opinion about somebody within as little as a tenth of a second and as long as 30 seconds. Either way, it's way too short to come up with an opinion, anything accurate about an individual, let alone to be able to know that person and form the best opinion about that person, especially if you catch them on a bad day or in a process that they normally don't get themselves involved in. But if you look at this can of beans, I can tell you everything about the contents of this can just by reading the label. I can tell you, first of all, they're black beans, the weight the content has to it, total fat content, calories, serving size, sugars, carbohydrates, all those things I can tell about this particular can of beans. You can't do that with people. And that's why I believe labels are meant for products and not people. Now, when you look at me, for those who don't know me, you probably come up with some labels real quick, unknowingly to yourself sometimes. Unconsciously, we form different opinions about different people because we're so used to using labels. But those who know me, this is not really for you. For those, once again, this got some Christian viewpoints to it. But if you're not a Christian, that's all right because there's still some morality issues to it as well. But folks who don't know me, and I've experienced this throughout life, my 52 years on this earth. I've seen people assess me immediately and they have the wrong opinion about me. I can tell right off the bat. How, you say? Well, if I walk into a elevator and a little old lady moves from the middle of the elevator into the corner, clutches her purse real tight, and gives me that look up and down like, don't touch me. That's an assessment. That's an assessment. I'll tell you some more assessments that I've dealt with in my lifetime. I won't give you anything that's third party. It's always from my point of view as it happened to me. Driving down the street with a friend of mine, actually, a young lady from New York, white lady, blonde hair. I'm stopped, pulled over by the police, and I'm told that I fit the description. The description of what? And then he turns to my passenger and says, "Are you in the car of your own will?" And she looked at him like he was crazy. Like, "Yeah, this is my friend, and we're going here, there, and the other. I'm here visiting him and his wife from New York. But I fit the description." Um, Other people may look at me and say that I'm probably a dad of several out of wedlock children, a deadbeat dad at that. Other people can look at me and say that I'm probably unemployed, welfare recipient, not very well educated. A lot of things people will assess and just put labels on other folks and know nothing about them. And unless I don't have my military hats on today or any kind of other identifying clothing articles. So they wouldn't be able to know that I'm a Christian man. They wouldn't be able to know that I was a 22-year Navy veteran. They wouldn't know a lot of things about me, but I guarantee you they would come up with a very inaccurate assessment of me because we use labels all the time to manage our emotions, our reactions to people, things, and incidents. And so I really think we have it wrong about labels. And this is more so for Christians than anybody, because the only label we should be concerned with is whether or not a person is a follower of Christ. That's it. That's the only label we should be concerned with. If they are not a follower of Christ, a brother and sister through Christ, then they are what we would consider lost. Now, that is one label that I'm okay with using because now we have a responsibility to reach out to the lost. If you go to the Bible, it doesn't say anything about we must spread the gospel to everybody except those who come from the LGBTQ community or those who are democratic. That would be another label somebody would probably put on me as well, that I must be a Democrat because I'm black, which I am not. Also, the Bible doesn't say because you are a Republican, therefore we don't consider you necessary to have the gospel spread to you. It doesn't say anything like that. It just says the lost, those who do not know Christ. And for whatever reason, Christians have become more comfortable with labels than they should. You know, they would throw these labels around. You know, it's like it's nothing. They'll call somebody out of their name and believe that it's a righteous thing to do, and it's not. God never called us to do that. In fact, we should already know that He is not even concerned with those kinds of things. We have a responsibility, and when you start throwing labels on people, you become unresponsive and you neglect your responsibility as a Christian. In fact, you become derelict in your duty as a Christian by using labels because you now neglect the role of being able to minister to these individuals because you consider them to be probably unworthy to be ministered to. I think we need to take a serious look at how we do business here in the world as Christians and whether or not it is applicable to apply labels to people because I don't believe it is. I don't believe it is at all. Like I said, the only labels we should be concerned with is whether or not they know Christ or they don't. You're either a follower of Christ or you're not. You're either found and saved or you're lost. And everything else is irrelevant. But yet we set up these parameters and pigeonhole stuff. And if somebody doesn't line up exactly the way we want them to, we have nothing to do with them or we consider them something that is less than we are. And that's not right. That's not right at all. How can you reach the world when most of the world doesn't meet whatever standards that you put up for them, except for the fact that you had the responsibility for applying God's standard to everything? Period. His standard is the only standard that matters. The worldly standards don't matter. You can see how they come and go, fluctuate, nothing steady with it at all. Testing standards change, applying justice changes depending on who you are, where you're at, how much money you have. We can't afford to allow ourselves to be overcome with the ways of the world. What does Paul say? Do not allow yourself to be like the world. Instead, be transformed. Be better than what the world is. That is our responsibility as Christians. So let's not use labels anymore. Let's not size people up without getting to know them. That's what discipleship is all about. You can't get to know somebody until you spend time with them, learn who they are through a relationship. You can't look at somebody for 30 seconds and decide, oh, they're a bum. Oh, they're good people. Oh, whatever. You can't do it. You shouldn't do it. But we do all the time. Anyway, so the next time you go to the store and you look at a label, check it out for that product. And when you look at people, you won't see a barcode on them. You won't see anything that says the content of that person. You can only know the content of a person by their character, and by spending time with them is the only way you can learn their character. And I'm out of here. Peace out.